Hello friends, so today we learn about digestion and absorption of lipids. So we are almost complete with the chemistry portion of the lipid. Okay, so today we move further with the digestion and absorption of lipids. So for any foodstuff, when we learn about any foodstuff, we will start with the chemistry part. Okay, so chemistry part that includes the structural component of that particular foodstuff. Okay. Then we will study about digestion and absorption of that particular foodstuff. So it will be digested, that food will be absorbed, and then we will see for the metabolism, that is anabolism and catabolism of that particular foodstuff. So for lipid we are almost done with the chemistry portion, right? So today we just learn about digestion and absorption of lipids. For digestion and absorption of lipid, there is a unique problem. What is that? We all know fat is a water insoluble substance, and the enzyme which acts on lipid, that is known as lipolytic enzyme, they are soluble in water. So there is a problem for the action of water soluble enzyme on the water insoluble substance. So that problem is solved out by the emulsification. Emulsification is carried out by the bile salt. So bile salt has a very important role in the digestion and absorption of the lipid. So digestion of lipid are mainly divided into three phases. One is preparatory phase, that includes conversion of larger particles into the smaller one with the help of different lipases. Second, that is transport phase, that is transport of digested fat across the membrane. So from the lumen to the epithelial cell, that is known as transport phase, and transportation phase, that is events inside the epithelial cell, that is known as the transportation phase. So we start with the first phase, that is preparatory phase, that is just a conversion of macromolecule into the micromolecules by the lipases, that is preparatory phase. So whenever we start digestion for any foodstuff, we start from the oral cavity. So for fat, there is a little fat digestion occurs inside the oral cavity, and the enzyme which is present in the oral cavity, that is lingual lipase. We all know lingual, that means it is related to tongue. So enzyme which is present in the oral cavity, that is lingual lipase. Optimum pH for lingual lipase, that is 2 to 7.5. Only 30% of triglyceride is being digested inside the oral cavity. Lingual lipase is only effective on short chain fatty acids. Okay, so most of the time carbon less than 6. They efficiently act on the third position of fatty acid, and milk is the base substrate for the lingual lipase, because milk contains a short chain fatty acid. That's why it is the base substrate for the functioning of lingual lipase. And then food will enter into the stomach. There is a negligible or no fat digestion will take place inside the stomach, and the enzyme which is present in the stomach, that is known as gastric lipase. Optimum pH of for gastric lipase, that is 7.8, and it requires the calcium as a co-metal. So for the functioning of lipases, it requires the alkaline pH and the cofactor calcium. Okay, so that's why there is a negligible action of gastric lipase on the lipid inside the stomach, because as we discussed, there is a no emulsification of fats taken place inside the stomach. There is a very small quantity of enzyme in the stomach, and pH of gastric juice is highly acidic, that we all know, and the optimum pH for the gastric lipase is 7.8, that is alkaline, so it cannot work properly. So there is a no fat digestion will take place inside the stomach. So what happened inside the stomach? So food which has entered in the stomach will release the enterogastrone. Okay, that hormone will be released, which inhibit the gastric motility and retard the discharge of bolus food. So that means it causing the delayed emptying of stomach. Okay, and that's why fat has a high satiety value. It gives them feeling of fullness of stomach. Okay, so that is the only function of the lipid inside the stomach. Then fat will enter into the that foodstuff will enter into the small intestine, and this is the main organ or the major site for the fat digestion. And the powerful enzyme which acts on that, that is known as pancreatic lipase, which is otherwise known as strepsin. But pancreatic lipase can only work in the presence of pancreatic juice and the bile salt, which is required for the emulsification of the food, because we have already discussed, for the lipid digestion emulsification is must, and that is carried out by the bile salt. Okay, so now food has entered into the small intestine. First it has started from the oral cavity. There is a little digestion of fat inside the oral cavity. Then food has entered into the stomach. There is a no digestion or the very limited digestion occurred inside the stomach due to the no emulsification of food and not appropriate pH for the function of gastric lipase. Okay, so till now there is a no digestion of the fat present in the food. Okay, so now food has entered into the small intestine. So as soon as the gastric content enter into the duodenum, okay, it secretes the pancreatic juice, and apart from that it also releases the some gastrointestinal hormone, that is secretin and cholecystokinin, pancreozymin. This secretin is required for the secretion of electrolytes and fluid component, CCK, that is cholecystokinin, so that is required for the contraction of gallbladder and discharge of bile from the gallbladder, and pancreozymin, that is required for secretion of pancreatic enzyme. So all these combinedly produce the pancreatic juice secretion and the bile salt mixture. Okay, so ultimately the pancreatic juice and bile salt mixture has been delivered inside the small intestine. So now what pancreatic juice contain? Which enzymes present in the pancreatic juice? They mainly contain the pancreatic lipase, which is required for the degradation of fatty acid within the triglycerides. Phospholipase A2 will act on the phospholipids, and cholesterol esterase that will act on the cholesterol esters. So these are the common lipids which we take in the food. Okay, so these are the common lipids and these are the enzyme which acts on that particular lipids. So starting from the first one, that is pancreatic lipase, which acts on the TG, because major content of lipid in the foodstuff, that is in the form of TG. Okay, so pancreatic lipase required the helper. Okay, so optimum pH of the pancreatic lipase, that is around 6, so that is okay for it, because in the duodenum the pH is slightly alkaline. It requires the bile salt because it is the main factor for the digestion of the fat. It causes the emulsification. It also helps in the binding of lipases of a small protein. It also contains the colipase, which increases the activity of lipase, and it protects the enzyme against the inhibitory effect of bile salt. Okay, so that is the role of bile salt. And again it requires the calcium ion for the formation of calcium in saponification, and it increases the activity of lipase. So for the proper function of pancreatic lipase, these two are required. Now what does happen? So this is lumen of the intestine. This is the TG which has entered into the small intestine. So it contains 3 fatty acids and 1 molecule of glycerol. So pancreatic lipase will act on alpha position. Okay, so this fatty acid is removed. Now it has formed alpha and beta diethylglycerol. Again pancreatic lipase can remove the second fatty acid molecule from alpha position. Okay, so now it has become beta monoacylglycerol. Pancreatic lipase cannot act on the beta position, right? So for that, beta monoacylglycerol will first convert it to alpha monoacylglycerol with the help of isomerase, and then pancreatic lipase can act, which will release the free fatty acid. So this is how the digestion will take place inside the lumen. Okay. So by the action of pancreatic lipase and the isomerase, alpha and beta monoacylglycerol are formed, which is the major end product of the digestion of lipids. Okay, and less than 1/4 or 25% fat is completely broken down into the free fatty acid and the glycerol. So major product will be beta monoacylglycerol and the alpha monoacylglycerol. Okay, so this is how the pancreatic lipase will act on TG and convert them into the micromolecules. So once free fatty acid, monoacylglycerol and DAG are formed, that will be formation of micelle. Okay, that is a water soluble molecular aggregate. So now we have to make these water insoluble substance into the water soluble. So these are relatively insoluble, so their absorption is largely aided by the heterotropic action of bile salt. So as we discussed, bile salt will cover these water insoluble compound. Okay, and with the help of that they will be converted into water soluble compound. Okay, and that is known as water soluble molecular aggregate. In other words, it is known as the micelle. Here you can see this is lipid which is covered by the bile salt. So external surface will become water soluble, whereas inner core will become hydrophobic, that is of lipid. Okay, so now that can be absorbed easily. That is the role of bile salt. It is required for the synthesis of micelle formation by the emulsification. So that was about preparatory phase. So now the larger molecule has been converted into a smaller molecule, right? So next phase, that is transport phase. So these digested molecule will cross the membrane and they will enter into the intestinal epithelial cell, that is known as transport phase. Okay, so free fatty acid, alpha monoacylglycerol and beta monoacylglycerol will enter into the epithelial cell only via way of simple diffusion. Okay, so now they are in the epithelial cell of the intestine. And now third phase, that is transportation phase. So that is the events which occur inside the epithelial cell. Okay, so that is known as transportation phase. So in lumen, most of the lipids are converted into beta monoacylglycerol or alpha monoacylglycerol, or in the form of free fatty acid or in the form of glycerol. Okay, so this beta monoacylglycerol will be converted into the TG. So there is a resynthesis of triglyceride. Okay, so that is the main function of transportation phase. So within the intestinal epithelial cell, alpha monoacylglycerol are further hydrolyzed by the intestinal lipase. So this is again another lipase which comes into the action, that works only inside the epithelial cell of the intestine. So alpha monoacylglycerol will be acted upon by the intestinal lipase, which will be converted to the glycerol, and these glycerol may resynthesize the TG. Okay, so beta monoacylglycerol or alpha monoacylglycerol, with the help of thiokinase and with the help of intestinal lipase, they will ultimately resynthesize the TG inside the intestinal epithelial cell, and this TG will be taken up by the chylomicron for the absorption. Okay, so transportation phase is only the resynthesis of triglyceride inside the epithelial cell. So after digestion there is absorption. So glycerol which is formed inside the intestinal lumen are directly entered into the portal circulation. Triglyceride which are resynthesized inside the intestinal epithelial cell, which will be taken up by the chylomicron, and free fatty acid which can be short chain and medium chain will enter directly into the portal circulation, whereas long chain fatty acid will be utilized for the resynthesis of Tg in the cell, which is taken up by the chylomicron, and these chylomicron via lymphatic duct and via left subclavian artery, they will enter into the portal circulation. So this is how the absorptions of lipid will take place. Okay, so this is about pancreatic lipase, and there are other two enzymes present in the pancreatic juice, that is phospholipase A2 and cholesterol esterase. So cholesterol esterase will act on cholesterol esters. So cholesterol esters will be degraded by the cholesterol esterase. So there is a formation of free fatty acid and the cholesterol. So free fatty acid will be absorbed, as we have shown earlier. It can, if they are short chain and medium chain, they will be entered directly. If they are long chain, then again there is a resynthesis of Tg. Okay, and then they are taken up by the chylomicron. And cholesterol, they will directly enter into the blood circulation, or they are again reesterified in the intestinal epithelial cell, same as triglyceride. Okay, so that is about digestion and absorption of cholesterol esters. And third one, that is phospholipid. So action of phospholipase. So phospholipid will be acted upon by the phospholipase A2. So it will again release the free fatty acid, which is again disposed as of shown earlier, and lysophospholipid will enter directly into the portal circulation. So that is about the digestion and absorption of phospholipid. So our foodstuff mainly contain three types of lipid. It can be in the form of Tg, it can be in the form of cholesterol esters, or it is mostly in the form of phospholipid. So this is how the digestion and absorption of all three types of lipid will occur. So now what is the clinical application related to digestion and absorption of lipid? One clinical condition, that is known as steatorrhea. Okay, so steatorrhea, that is related to defective digestion of lipid. So abnormality in first two phase, that is preparatory phase or transport phase, which may be due to defected or defective bile secretions, and which ultimately leads to presence of excess fat in the feces. That's why stool may be bulky, it is difficult to flush, have a pale and oily appearance, and can be especially foul smelling. So this is known as the steatorrhea, that is presence of excess amount of fat in the feces, that is known as steatorrhea. Another clinical condition, that is due to obstruction to the transport of chylomicron, which may produce chyluria, that is due to abnormal connection between urinary tract and lymphatic drainage, and urine will become milky due to presence of chylomicron. And chylothorax, that is due to abnormal connection between pleural space and lymphatic drainage, and there is a milky pleural effusion, that is known as chylothorax. Okay, so in this condition you can treat the patient by providing short chain fatty acid and medium chain fatty acid in their diet, because they don't require chylomicron for their digestion and absorption. And third clinical condition, that is ApoB48 synthesis deficiency. Due to this, there is a defective formation of chylomicron, so there is a defective absorption of Tgs and cholesterol. Okay, so that's why in case of B48 synthesis deficiency, there is again problem with the absorption of lipids. So this is all about the clinical condition related to defective digestion and absorptions of lipid. So just revising, we started with the oral cavity. There is a little or no digestion will take place inside the mouth. Only 30% of Tg are hydrolyzed with the help of lingual lipase. They act only on short chain fatty acid, and milk is the base substrate. Then food has entered inside the stomach. Here there is a gastric lipase, but the optimum pH for the gastric lipase is alkaline, and there is a no emulsification, so there is a no fat digestion will take place inside the stomach. Then food will enter into the small intestine, where it is a major site for the digestion of lipids. It requires the pancreatic lipase, and for proper function of pancreatic lipase, it requires the pancreatic juice and bile salt. Okay, so with the help of pancreatic juice and bile salt, pancreatic lipase will produce the micromolecule like beta monoacylglycerol, alpha monoacyl glycerol or the free fatty acid, and then they will be absorbed. Okay, so then they will be absorbed with the help of chylomicron. Okay, and they will enter into the portal circulation. So this is the summary of digestion and absorption of lipids. So hope you understand the digestion and absorption of the lipid, and kindly subscribe our YouTube channel, that is Pauline Gandhi. And if you have any query regarding medical biochemistry, you can email us on powtalk@gmail.com.